Hello everyone, this is Formula One News, and today we'll be talking about the Ferrari team, which is determined to challenge Red Bull head-on. What areas has Ferrari already surpassed Red Bull in? Which employees are they attempting to lure away from their competitors? And what prospects do they have for the coming years? Ferrari has a chance to become the main rival to Red Bull this season. The team has worked well during the off-season and significantly improved its car in all aspects. The first two Grand Prix races have shown that the SF24 performs well in both slow and medium-speed turns in Bahrain, as well as in high-speed turns in Jeddah. In the latest Grand Prix, the new car driven by Leclerc was second in terms of speed, significantly ahead of the nearest pursuers McLaren and Mercedes. Even the newcomer Oliver Behrman, who replaced Carlos Sainz, showed excellent pace and was faster than such drivers as Fernando Alonso and Lewis Hamilton. Considering these results, Ferrari is looking optimistically towards the future, but understands that there is still a lot of work ahead, and catching up to Red Bull, especially Max Verstappen, will be challenging but possible. Now, I don't want to be pessimistic because it was a good weekend and we have to be optimistic and we need to enjoy these moments, but it's clear Red Bull is still ahead. In quali, they have perhaps 2-3 tenths on us, and in the race, a bit more. But it's difficult to estimate because we don't know if they were pushing at the max, but the feeling is more positive that if you come back in this region, you know if you do a step, you can put some pressure on them. The first Grand Prix races of the new season have given Ferrari hope, and now the team understands that their efforts will not be in vain. Previously, when they were trailing Red Bull by a second, it was clear that closing this gap by the end of the season would be impossible, and all they needed to do was to fight with other teams for second place in the Constructors' Championship and nurture hopes for the next year. But when the gap to the leader is not so significant, there is a chance that successful car updates will allow Ferrari to seriously compete for victories, not just on individual tracks where the Red Bull car might not be as fast as it was last year in Singapore. The team has identified that they have a modernization plan in place, which will increase the performance of the SF24. Vassar says he is very inspired by the fact that the team has a reliable foundation to build on, rather than being preoccupied with solving problems with the car. I am not focused at all on the championship, but I think we scored something like 45 points overall, and last year after 3 races we had 25. It's important to have a good start. Also, I think the fact that the car is, I don't want to say easy to drive, and in any case it doesn't have anything to do with the performance, but I think the car today is easier to drive than 1 year ago. This is a good base for the development, because the car is much easier to read for the drivers, so it is much easier to understand where we have to improve, and in this situation it's a step forward for us for the overall picture. In addition to improving the stability and handling of the car, Ferrari has also managed to tackle one of its biggest problems: rapid tire wear. At the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, Ferrari, like most teams, made an early pit stop, switching to hard tires, and completed 43 laps on them. Despite having a worn set of tires, Charles Leclerc set the fastest lap of the race, surpassing the previous fastest lap set by Lewis Hamilton on soft tires. After the race, Helmut Marko admitted that Ferrari worked better with the hard compound than Red Bull. Such results cannot fail to please the Ferrari team, but they understand that winning the championship doesn't come from just one strong aspect of the car. To catch up to Red Bull, systematic improvement is needed in every single area. This approach was adopted by the team in the previous season, and they believe it proved successful, so they plan to follow the same scheme this season. However, for quality improvement of the car, good engineers are needed, and the competition for them is ongoing. Currently, engineers from Red Bull are particularly valuable, as they are instrumental in creating championship-winning cars for the team, and it seems Ferrari is making every effort to lure them to their side. The team from Maranello is trying to capitalize on the turmoil at Red Bull to acquire valuable staff. Previously, they made attempts to sign Red Bull's technical director, Pierre Wash, and head of aerodynamics, Enrico Balbo. Now, other candidates are emerging for the move to Ferrari, less conspicuous but no less important. One of them is David Morgan, who has been with the Red Bull team for 6 years, moving from Williams. David is responsible for interpreting aerodynamic data and its correlation between the track and the simulator. Another candidate for the move is Ben Waterhouse, who holds the position of head of performance, essentially overseeing the entire dynamics of the car. He is well versed in setups and the internal configuration of the suspension, which allows Red Bull cars to perfectly balance mechanical and aerodynamic aspects. And the last but not least important candidate for the move is Alessandro Germani, the current head of aerodynamics development at Red Bull, who has been with the team for 9 years and is a profound expert in aerodynamic modeling. All these employees would be a great addition to Ferrari and at the same time, a significant loss for Red Bull. If these transitions occur this season, the engineers will only be able to start their work a year later due to the mandatory paid leave period. Thus, Ferrari is trying to strengthen its team in the long term, aiming for the year 2026 when changes in regulations are expected. For now, what Ferrari is doing cannot fail to please their fans. The team is clearly strengthening, and perhaps not next year, but in 2026 they will definitely be contenders for the title. Now they can improve the engineering team. They will have an experienced driver who can deliver consistent results in the championship fight, and they will have a new engine that carries high hopes. All that is needed now is to systematically improve the current car and build a team that can win the championship for Ferrari in the future. That's all for today. Like the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Let's follow the latest news from Formula One together.